Welcome back, everybody, to episode 9 of the Washed Up Sports podcast. We are your Washed Up Sports hosts,
Patrick Quinn,
Ortiz,
and I'm Bobby Hanscom. Today's episode will feature our thoughts of the NBA end-of-season awards, a brief recap of some entertaining round 2 games of the NBA and NHL playoffs, a recap of Champions League semifinals, and a preview of the final leg, which is set for June 1st. We have a new segment called Bobby Knows Ball. It is my new segment of the top 10 MLB power rankings, some random news in the sports world, and we will conclude the episode with Washed Up Wagers, which will have a recap of Tuesday's slate, and we will give our picks for Friday, May 10th.
All right, let's get into it. The NBA awards are last night, meaning the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, and Coach of the Year. We'll start off. Nikola Jokic won his 3rd MVP in the last 4 seasons. Jokic becomes the 9th player to have 3 MVPs, joining the likes of Larry Bird, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and Moses Malone. He is also the 6th straight international player to win the award, along with Giannis Antetokounmpo twice and Joel Embiid last year. Jokic's numbers real quick, averaged just under 27 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, while shooting 60% from the field. Also had the second most triple-doubles behind Sabonis of the Sacramento Kings. He received 79 out of 99 first-place votes, and the Nuggets are currently a 3 seed in the West. Bill, we'll start with you. Did the voters fuck this up? Was this Jokic's award to win, or was it somebody else's to finally get?
So, Jokic definitely deserves it. His numbers stand out otherwise. But in my opinion, obviously I'm going to sound like a fucking homer here, but it should have been Tatum. How can you not have at least be in the top 3 votes when you are on the number 1 team in the league? And when you watch the games, you can clearly see that the defense just gravitates towards Tatum. So when you have a player that changes the game like that, it's hard to say that it's not him.
I'd agree, honestly, because I saw the top 5, and I don't believe Brunson should have been above Tatum there. Brunson was 4th, Tatum was 5th. But when you're talking about most valuable player, I would say, who brings the most value to the team, I would have to agree with, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Shaq, when he was talking to Jokic, he kind of told him, hey, I thought Shai Gilgeous-Alexander would have won MVP. He was the best player. And I feel like if you're the most valuable to the team, that's SGA over Jokic, in my opinion. I feel like he was kind of robbed in that.
Yeah, no, I'd have to completely agree with you. I think it should have been SGA. Just one more point to back you up. SGA was the first player since 1967 to average 30 points or more, be on the number 1 team in the West, and not win the MVP.
Wow.
So when you think about it like that, kind of puts things into perspective. All right, jumping now to the next one. Defensive Player of the Year. I think this award should just be called the Rudy Gobert Award at this point. This is 4th time winning it. Just the 3rd player in league history, along with Dikembe Mutombo and Ben Wallace. There's a lot of speculation about should this have gone to Wemby possibly, but in the end, Rudy obviously won the Defensive Player of the Year, ranked 2nd in rebounds with 13 a game, was 6th with 2 blocks, and had 54 double-doubles, receiving 72 first-place votes. Now, back to the point I just said, was this Wemby's award to win?
Absolutely. Just look at the stats. Defensive Player of the Year also is kind of like a team voting thing because the team does better when he's out on the floor. But at the same point in time, it's yeah, sure. But Wemby's defensive rating was just so outrageous. The amount of blocks that he had, was just absurd. And I just don't understand why he didn't win it.
No, I'd have to agree. Wemby should have definitely been the first player to win Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year award. If you just, like you said, put it on paper, Wemby was way better defensively rather than Gobert. I feel like they just kind of took into consideration that the Timberwolves were higher up than the Spurs, who didn't make the playoffs. So, but I feel like this was Wemby's to lose.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I think the NBA and the voters looked at it where he's a really good defensive player on a terrible team. The only thing exciting about the Spurs all year was Victor Wembanyama, which then again should also go more towards the vote. But then you look at the Timberwolves, really good team in the playoffs, and Rudy Gobert was a core piece to that defensive team. But I think they did get this one wrong. It would have been cool to see Wemby win Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year, which I think it was deserving.
I mean, like we said, Wemby did win Rookie of the Year unanimously, receiving all 99 first-place votes here. He was the third Spurs player to win the award since Tim Duncan and David Robinson, and first ever player from France to win it. He led all rookies, 21.4 points per game. He had 10.6 rebounds per game, and he led the league with 3.6 blocks. Right there, you think he'd be Defensive Player of the Year, but he fell short. He was the fourth. He was the fourth for rookies in assists with 3.9, being fucking 10 feet tall that he is.
Yeah.
And he was second in steals, second ever rookie to lead the entire NBA in blocks. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think it should have been him, or anyone that kind of went under the scale here?
I mean, the only other option I would say would be Chet, but at the same point in time, it's like it shouldn't. It was Wemby. Like there's no question. Like even the moves that Wemby does is just outrageous for a guy his size and as a rookie.
Yeah,
He's like point guard.
Exactly.
He could have played whatever the bare minimum is you need to play to get qualified for this award. There was zero chance anybody else was winning this award.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just the name that he has coming into the league, he could have had a mediocre season too for his standards, and I still think he would have won the award. It was not going to matter. This was his Rookie of the Year award, no question about it.
Yeah, so we also saw Oklahoma City Thunder head coach Mark Denault win NBA Head Coach of the Year over Jamal Mosley of the Orlando Magic and Chris Finch of the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Thunder were the youngest team ever to finish number one in their conference. Second Thunder coach to win it since Scott Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
He had 89 first-place votes out of the 99. Should this have been a closer race? What about Joe Mazzulla? Should he have gotten anything? What do you guys think?
I mean, you kind of said it to me. Like, where the fuck was Joe Mazzulla there? At least he should have been top three, in my opinion. First Eastern Conference team to win 60-plus games in a year since, what, LeBron?
Yeah,
LeBron's
with the Cavs.
Yep. And, you don't achieve that without having a great head coach. And him being snubbed from that top three, I mean, he has... I guess he's going out for blood this postseason, but he should have been, in my opinion, he should have been Coach of the Year. At least top three.
The only thing that I'd counter to you about that is the expectations for the Celtics at the beginning of this year was to be the 1 seed. They were the best team in the league. And you look at Oklahoma City Thunder head coach, people thought, okay, they could maybe make the playoffs, as like a 6-7 seed. Same thing with the Orlando Magic, like to be that 5 seed. And even with the Timberwolves as a 3 seed like they were. These coaches met expectations and then exceeded them immensely. So I think that's why they get a little bit higher of the votes in that certain situation. My real snub, I thought, was Tom Thibodeau. The Knicks getting that 2 seed. And at the beginning of the year, you looked at the East, was loaded with the fact that you brought Damon from the Milwaukee Bucks, and then you have the emergence of the Indiana Pacers, you have the Sixers, you have the Heat. I think Tom Thibodeau not being in that top 5 was kind of a snub to him for the job he did with the Knicks, especially with all the injuries that they ended up having with Julius Randle going down.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do agree with you, Pat. But yeah, I mean, kind of like what you said, like the Thunder, they were the youngest team in the league, and they had the number 1 seed. The Orlando Magic, they weren't even expected to make the playoffs, and they were a 5 seed. So that's pretty impressive, too. And then no one thought the Timberwolves were going to be this good and be a 2 seed in the West with how hard the West is. So, I mean, I get why these three are up there, but I would have loved to see Joe in the top 3.
All I'm saying is at least the top 3. At least be a finalist. Come on.
I can understand that. I think nobody has an issue with that. But like we said, those coaches exceeded expectations where Joe Mazzulla kind of did exactly what they thought he was going to do, and he needed to do less coaching because of how good his team was, but these coaches needed to coach a lot more because of the inexperience that they have getting to the playoffs and being a good team.
I guess it's crazy because, Mazzulla, it's his second year, so, they had such high expectations either way. And
that just comes with being the Boston Celtics.
Right.
It's the Boston Celtics right there.
I mean, Now we can move on to Naz Reid winning 6th Man of the Year for the Timberwolves. He was a very close race against Malik Monk from the Kings here. Tyrese Maxey also won Most Improved over Kobe White. Curry of the Warriors won the Clutch Player of the Year.
What
do we see? Any?
What even award is Clutch Player of the Year?
I feel like they're just trying to give out awards now to like players because
what's the qualifications for that?
Be a top 10 seed in the West,
I guess. Not even losing the play-in round. Don't get me wrong, Curry's clutch, but I don't understand what kind of award that could possibly be right there.
Actually, I will completely disagree with you. He was not clutch. If you actually look at his stats from like the final minute of the game, Curry's never actually hit a game winner from the final minute of the game. So that's where I do disagree with you there. And kind of to the NBA's point of picking him as Clutch Player of the Year.
Yeah, just to get Curry's.
The one thing that did baffle me was Kobe White not winning Most Improved.
I don't know.
I think
Tyrese Maxey.
I get the whole Tyrese Maxey thing, but also Tyrese Maxey was at least averaging 16, 17 a game last year, where Kobe White wasn't even in double figures, I don't think.
Tyrese Maxey was also an all-star, though.
And went from being a 3 on that team last year with James Harden and Joel Embiid to then being the 1, pretty much because of the fact that Joel Embiid couldn't stay healthy. If Tyrese Maxey was not on that team, they weren't even sniffing possibly the playoffs. He was able to hold his own without Embiid on the floor, where Kobe White, he improved and did really, really well, but at the same time, the Bulls barely scratched the surface, getting in as a 9-10, then losing in the play-in.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
All right, let's stick with the NBA here. After tonight, we'll be through 2 games of every second-round series. Timberwolves stealing both games in Denver, going up 2-0 over the Nuggets here. 1 game 2 without Gobert.
Yeah, because Rudy Gobert was fucking 9 months ago.
Yeah. I mean, if you really think about it, Brendan Carlo was fucking 9 months ago, but he still played.
He did still play. Difference between hockey players and NBA players.
They're different. They're different. Knicks lead the Pacers 2-0 after a thrilling game 2 as well. Celtics, after tonight, hopefully will lead 2-0, but right now they're up 1-0 with the game tonight. Thunder as well, up 1-0 over the Mavericks. Well, assuming the Celtics and Thunder take care of home court advantage tonight, everyone will be up 2-0. Who do you guys think is in bigger trouble down 2-0 here?
I think it's going to be the Cavs. I think the fact that if it's another blowout tonight, and if Donovan Mitchell's the only one that shows up again and they lose by 20-25, they'll be just so depleted. Jared Allen's still hurt. And then, they can maybe go and steal 1 game at home, but then this will be over in 5. So I think this game is huge for the Cavs for them, even if they can make it somewhat close to try and make the series competitive. But they go down 2-0. They should just not even show up for the next 2 games, in my opinion.
So, hot take, but Denver. I think Denver's in huge trouble. Going down 2-0 at home and now going into Minnesota, and what's going to happen? I don't think Denver even knows what to do with anybody on Minnesota. So I feel like Denver's actually the ones that are in trouble just because of that reason.
Yeah, like I said last pod, I literally said, is Denver going to adjust to the Timberwolves offense here? And what happened? Rudy Gobert was out, and they still didn't adjust. Yeah. They were blown away. Mm-hmm. I would have to agree with you that Nuggets are definitely in trouble being down 0-2, especially going into Minnesota.
I think all of us on the last pod were like, we see the Nuggets having a bounce-back game in that game, making adjustments, and they did not at all. And they are definitely in some hot water for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Now, switching it up. Now, Stanley Cup playoffs are also going on. Had some exciting second-round games the last couple days. The Rangers are up 2-0 on the Hurricanes after winning in a crazy two overtime matchup. Hurricanes are making a bold decision. They're putting in their rookie goaltender. I'm going to try and pronounce his last name, Kochetkov, and Freddie Anderson is sitting on the bench. The head coach said it was just rest for Anderson, and he's played really, really well. I think that can fuck up some goalkeeper psyche, though, or some goaltender psyche. If something doesn't go well tonight in Game 3, all right, you get thrown back into Game 4. How's that going to affect them? The Bruins got their shit kicked in last night. I think that was a given. That was going to happen because Florida got their shit kicked in game 1. A lot of fights going on. Pasta and Kachuk, the 2 stars of the team, fighting center ice at the end of the game. Insane amount of penalty minutes at the end of that game. And then now over to the Western Conference. We had 2 nights ago the Avs come back after they were down 3-0, and they beat the Stars 4-3 in overtime. I remember I texted you guys, and I was like, shit, my Avs bet is done.
I said you spoke too soon, boss. You spoke
way too soon. It got back to 3-3, and then the 4-3 winner. And then
I would like to say, as a wise man once said, a lot of ball left to play.
But in this instance,
a lot of
puck left to play. And then probably the most exciting game of the round 2 so far was the Canucks and the Oilers. The Oilers got off to a hot start. I think they were up 3-0 at one point. Then it was 4-1. And then the Canucks come storming back to win this game 5-4 into overtime.
I'll correct you there. It was 2-0 within the first 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then it was 2-1. And then they went up, I believe, 3-1, and then 4-1, and then 4-2. And that's when they made their
comeback. Who do you guys think is in the best shape so far in this series, or in these series going on right now?
I would honestly say the Rangers. I know they just won in a overtime game, but I think that the Rangers being the best team in the league right now, and I just don't see them actually like playing like shit. Mm-hmm. You know, they're just too good.
I mean, I'd kind of counter that just because, you know, the whole President's Trophy curse is
real.
It's real. It's a real thing. And I feel like, being up 2-0, what did we say last year about the Bruins being up 3-1? You know?
Yeah, that's fair.
For me, I would say best shape, the Bruins. Going back to Boston, 1-1, stealing a game in Florida after everyone thought that they were the Stanley Cup probably favorites over the Rangers. You never see 2 top dogs dropping the gloves like Kachuk and Pasta. You'll never see a top dog like that go out of his way to go to his head coach and be like, can I fuck this guy up? And can I drop the gloves with them? Mm-hmm. And that's what Pasta did. Kachuk got a couple cheap shots at the end, but I feel like that kind of gave the energy for the Bruins to go back in Boston and really settle this, especially after Maroon got tossed as well. Because Maroon's our hit guy. He's the guy that kind of keeps it all clean, and he lets people know that you can't fuck with Boston here.
I can only imagine what Patty Maroon said, because it wasn't like he got in trouble for fighting.
No,
he literally grabbed somebody by the neck. Referee was right next to him. Heard Patty Maroon say some magic words, and then it was like, you're out of here. Well, that's what you want to see out of the Bruins, though. When, you know, they're not going to win this game, at least they know they show Florida we're not just going to roll over and let you fucking spank us. You know, they're going to make sure we have a fighting chance, even if it's not with the actual hockey play, but it's with our chirping and our fighting and our hitting and that kind of stuff.
And before we leave this segment, I'm going to just say a little moment of silence to Matthew Tkachuk for that hit that fucking Marchand you did on him. God.
Oh, in the first 30 seconds.
God, dude, that was insane. Yeah. I jumped out of my chair.
If only that set the tone for the game.
It kind of did, but it didn't. All right, well, moving on now to the Champions League. Crazy semifinals games. We have Dortmund, who I called to go on, beating PSG 1-0 in the Parc des Princes, and then off a goal from Matt Hummels. Great header from the corner here. Real also pulled off a Real comeback. 2 goals in the last 3 minutes to put them up 2-1, win 4-3 on aggregate here. A lot of controversy, though. Bayern did score in stoppage time, and, well, the sideline ref he said offside, but when you saw it, it wasn't offside from Rudiger. Do you have any thoughts on that?
So the whole thing they do now with VAR is you're supposed to let the play happen, and then you go back and look if it made a mistake. You know, the AR knows, all right, you think it's offsides, you let the play run out, see what happens, and then you go back to the spot, lift your flag up, and okay, if it's offsides, it's offsides, you go to VAR, and then you redo it or you recheck it, okay, you make a decision. The AR made a huge mistake here by putting up his flag right away, and then the head ref identifying that and then blowing the whistle to stop the play. If you watch that end of that game, every single Real Madrid player stopped, even Lunin, the goalkeeper, stopped, and Bayern kept playing, got the shot off, went in the back of the net. Like, you have to let that play continue, play out throughout it, and then you go back and make a decision. You can't stop that there.
My question is, why didn't the ref go to and replay that, just stop the play and go and check to see if it was an offside or not?
Well, because at that point you can't. Once the ref makes a decision, puts the flag up, every single player is going to see that. Okay, he put the flag up for offsides. They're all going to stop because they know, all right, that's what the call on the field is going to be. You got to disguise that until the play is over, and then now, okay, the ref puts it up. Then they can go back and look, and then they can see, okay, should this play have counted? And if it didn't, all right, you just stop it there for offsides. Real Madrid goes down the other end of the field. You can't stop it there. You have to let it play out for either a goal, corner, goal kick, whatever happens. Then you go back and check. I think Bayern did get screwed a little bit on that.
I think PSG screwed themselves a little bit. They had so many first leg going into the second leg. They had how many posts did they hit?
I think they hit like 4 or 5 in total.
Insane that they couldn't just capitalize on at least one goal in 2 legs against Dortmund.
Yeah, but I would say more surprising would be the Joselu substitution that Carlo Ancelotti made. You're down a goal, you need 2 goals to advance, and that's your decision to do is to bring on Joselu like that. Was playing I think in like a League 2 or League 3 team a couple years ago. Finally got his big call up, and now he'll be a Real Madrid legend for the rest of his life. So I think that one's more surprising than me. And then we got to talk about real quick, Harry Kane, big summer move.
What'd I say? Harry Kane trophyless. He's the Harry Kane curse.
Yeah.
It's literally what it is. The first trophyless season for Bayern since 2012.
Yeah. And it
just happened. For Bayern, that's actually insane. At least winning the Bundesliga. Mm-hmm. That's what they always look for.
Or a domestic cup. Right. They won nothing. So it is absolutely bonkers. Harry Kane's never won a trophy with his country, never won a trophy at Tottenham. Now he makes this move.
He won the Audi Cup for the friendly.
The preseason tournament.
That means something, though.
But now, looking ahead to the final, wouldn't it have been something, though? Harry Kane playing in a final at Wembley in his home country, in the stadium he used to play at with Tottenham. But that won't happen.
I mean, a better script, I would say, is Jude Bellingham playing against his former team with his current team in his home country.
Yes.
I feel like that's good. He truly... Honestly, he hasn't really been performing in the Champions League as people have seen him.
Yeah.
But I know he's doing his part. It would be awesome if he had a great game.
Yeah, no, that'll be an exciting game for sure. Real Madrid's, I think, already a heavy favorite, -175. Most people are going to take Madrid to win this game, but we'll talk about that obviously as we get closer to the match. And for some viewers that don't typically watch soccer and have us talking about 1 and 2 legs, the final is only one game winner take all. 30 minutes of extra time if needed, and then right to PKs. There will be a winner after that match on June 1st.
All right, boys, here we go. It's been a while since we talked baseball, but now that we're 6 weeks into the season, I think it's time to actually start saying some shit. So as I said earlier, we all know this new segment's coming along called Bobby Knows Ball. I'll be ranking the top 10 teams in the league in the show right now. So starting with number 10, I currently have the Texas Rangers. I know that they were the defending World Series champions. They are currently not playing as well as they would like to right now. They also just lost Nathan Eovaldi to the 15-day IL. So they need to see what he's going to be like when he gets back. And their star rookie, Jack Leiter, son of former MLB star Al Leiter, he came up and he pitched in his first career game. He pitched 3 2/3, and goddamn did he suck. He gave up 7 earned runs that game. So we'll see. I think that he'll end up getting it going when he figures out his groove. All right, at number 9, guys, I have the Kansas City Royals. They're 22-16 right now. They are currently second in the AL Central. They're just 2.5 games behind the Guardians and are tied for second place with the Twins, who are on an absolute tear. Like I just said, they're on fire right now, so you can't have them in front of the Twins. But people think that they shouldn't be this good, obviously, this far. Salvador Perez has been their surprising MVP player. It hasn't been Bobby Witt, as everybody would expect it to be. Salvy's actually 33 years old now. He's getting up there in age. Who knows how many years he'll have in the MLB anymore, but he's currently batting .326 with 8 homers and 31 RBIs as a 33-year-old catcher. So he's been an absolute star this year. Currently in 8th, as I just was talking about the Minnesota Twins, they come in here at 8, where they are also 21-15. So kind of the same record, but not really. They are obviously tied in second in the AL Central. They just had their 12-game win streak snapped against the Red Sox. They've won 13 of their last 15 games, though.
Didn't want to mention that they got swept by the Yankees, too.
No.
Okay. just saying.
No.
Okay.
No.
Thank God you mentioned it.
Yeah.
All right.
I know Zell and I appreciate that one.
Zach went over. He could have written that in there too. But they got their key players back. They got Max Kepler back. They got Carlos Correa and Johan Duran back. And ever since then, they've just been on fire with those 3 guys. They're also their leader of their team right now has been Ryan Jeffers. He's batting .303 with 7 homers and 30 RBIs. But is all what they needed was to be healthy? I think so. In 7, I have the Chicago Cubs. They're 22-16. They're tied for first in the NL Central. Justin Steele, Seiya Suzuki, and Cody Bellinger are their key guys normally, and they have been hurt. So other guys have had to step up in their absence. Hence, their new starter, Shota Imanaga, I believe. He's leading in my opinion, he's leading the Cy Young Award race. He currently has a 1.08 ERA, 43 Ks, and 5 wins. So he's been absolutely dominant this year. 6, we have the Cleveland Guardians, who are 24-13. They are in first place in the AL Central. Stephen Kwan, he just went on the 10-day IL, but he's been absolutely on fire this year. He's been batting .353. But you can't forget about Josh Naylor, who has 9 home runs, and Jose Ramirez, who, Pat, I believe you said was going to be MVP earlier this year, and he's got 30 RBIs. They went on a stretch at the end of April and early into May where they lost 5 of their 7. They've rebounded nicely since, winning 4 out of their last 5 and still atop their division. Also, they're top 15 in key batting average and pitching stats, which is actually crazy. And they just also called up their number 1 prospect, being Kyle Manzardo, who has 8 home runs and 14 RBIs in 14 minor league games. So that's pretty fucking impressive. At 5, I have the Baltimore Orioles, who are 24-12, tied for first in the AL East. The addition of Corbin Burns has been huge. He's currently leading the team with a .283 ERA, 47 Ks in just 8 starts. The young guys have been killing it for the most part, besides Jackson Holiday, obviously, since he got called down. But Gunnar Henderson and Adley Rutschman have been leading the way, 1-2 spots in their lineup, and Gunnar Henderson's looking like an MVP candidate. And also the Orioles just took 3 out of the last 4 to the Yankees. So
that was like 2 weeks ago. Brand new baseball team here.
That's all right. The number 4 team I have in here, who a week ago was my number 1 team, but it is now the Atlanta Braves. They're 22-12, and they're second in the NL East, 2 games behind the Phillies. With Spencer Strider out for the year, and with other stars not playing well, like Acuna, Matt Olson, and Austin Riley, other people have definitely stepped up this year. Marcell Ozuna's been absolutely raking right now. He's batting .315 and leads the league with 12 homers and 38 RBIs. So he's been nuts. The pitching staff has also been unreal. Reynaldo Lopez, he's pitching like a Cy Young candidate, and Chris Sale coming back from what he's been dealing with. So Lopez currently has a 1.53 ERA, which is second best in the majors, behind, like I said, Shota. Chris Sale is actually throwing the lights out of the ball, where he's got 52 Ks this year with a 2.96 ERA and being 5-1. God, I miss him so much. But what he was not like this in Boston in the end of it.
What did he do against the Red Sox the other day, Bobby?
Yeah, I know.
He just needed to get out of the trash organization that is the Boston Red Sox to revamp his career.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see how well it ends up.
Why don't you read us what he did against the Red Sox?
I'll read it. 19 Ks in his last 2 outings, including 10 and a shutout against his former team, the Boston Red Sox. And they gave him away for a fucking pack of gum.
Yeah. Oh well, shit happens, right? Can't always make good moves.
Or any moves, it seems like the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah. Well, one move that they just made was they got a guy and then 8 days later shipped him right out for cash.
Yeah, and then Trevor Story, a lot of money, injury, Is Devers even playing?
Hey, it's all right. We got the number 1 team in the Woo Sox, baby.
There you
Okay. Number 3 on my list, I have the New York Yankees. Fuck you all. They're 25-13.
Soto, baby.
So the Yankees have actually been shut out in 5 games this year already, which is kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
But they've been, obviously very inconsistent, as you guys know the most. But I feel like obviously once the warmer months get going, Aaron Judge finally sees the ball going, and he'll be a lot better. Like, speaking of Aaron Judge as well, like he also leads the MLB with 10 double plays this year, where his career high was 16. So he's like on pace to absolutely shatter his own ground double plays record. Juan Soto has obviously been a key ad for you guys. He's batting 338 with 6, which is 6th in the MLB, and he has 9 homers with 33 RBIs. So, as you guys know, obviously
that's my AL MVP. So
yeah, he's been dominant.
Would you like him on your team?
I would love him on my team, but
too bad.
Not how it works. They have 7 players who have 4 or more home runs, led by Soto with 9, and following with Judge and Stanton with 8. All 3 of them homered the other night, with Stanton blasting one at 119 miles an hour, which is fucking absurd.
119.9, the fastest home run hit this year.
Since Ohtani, when his was 116. They also haven't had ace Garrett Cole, who's been on the IR all year, but he seemed to make a good comeback right now. The Yankees are actually only one of 2 teams right now in the MLB that have all 5 of their starters with 6+ starts to have an ERA below 3.75, which is absolutely absurd. My number 2 team
Whoa. You wanted to skip over the fact that Alex Verdugo has absolutely, again, revamped his career being with the Bronx Bombers as well. We didn't want to mention that guy either.
It's okay. Benintendi, when he left and went to you guys, was not very good. So you can't have them all.
Doogie's been doing really good.
Johnny Damon, how did he do when he went to you guys?
Didn't he win a World Series?
Ellsbury.
Ellsbury, when he went to you guys, he sucked. So he's one of the worst contracts in MLB history when he went to the Yankees.
Verdugo.
God, I hate him. I didn't even like him when he was on the Sox.
Okay.
He's got. Oh my God! Shut the
did.
fuck up, dude.
Okay.
Everyone loved him. Everyone loved Verdugo.
Everybody but me.
Oh,
Bill
my
was fucking
God.
jerking a Doogie.
So I think
Everyone's looking at you right now, saying you're not a true Red Sox fan for saying that right now.
I think it's safe to say that the Yankees had a better result of the Mookie Betts trade than the Red Sox.
Yeah,
And
like
that's
I
on.
said, you
And that's
can't
on God.
All right. Anyways, continuing on, assholes. I have the Philadelphia Phillies in second place, who are currently 26-12, or are number 1 in the NL East. Alec Boehm, who was just recently named NL Player of the Week, he went 17 for 30 that week with 8 doubles and 8 RBIs with 6 multi-hit games, which is fucking nuts. Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber lead the team with 9 bombs each. And starting pitchers, they have had the best in baseball, with Zach Wheeler with a 1.64 ERA with 63 Ks, and Ranger Suarez with a 1.72 ERA, which is in 6 wins, which those guys are leading the way right now with an absolutely healthy starting lineup. And my number 1 team, which should have been the number 1 team all year. I know we all had questions about them earlier in the season, but it is the LA Dodgers. They are 26-13, number 1 in the NL West with a 6.5 game lead. They didn't start out too well, like I said. They went 13-11 after losing series to the Mets. Now they're 26-13. So they've had a crazy comeback. In their batting order, they've been very top heavy. So like Mookie Betts, Will Smith, Max Muncy, Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani. Those guys, they've been very top-heavy, where they haven't needed the production from their back-end lineup being Chris Taylor and other guys. Mookie currently is batting .346 with 6 bombs and 27 RBIs from the leadoff spot. Shohei's batting .355 with 11 bombs. And those guys that I all just mentioned, they all are batting over 300, which is absolutely nuts.
Insane. Yeah.
How are you going to have your top 6 guys all batting over 300?
Oh, it's insane. After like a month ago, didn't the Red Sox have a better record than the Dodgers at one point?
Yeah.
And
You know the expression, water finds its level.
A broken clock's right twice a day. Anyways, Tyler Glasnow has been arguably one of the best pitchers in baseball as well. He currently has a 2.7 ERA with 63 Ks and 6 wins. All right, so those are my top 10 teams in the Major League Baseball right now. Who am I missing? Who should have been lower? Who should have been higher? Did I get it just right?
I think maybe the Milwaukee Brewers not being in there. Obviously, they're always a competitive team at the end of the season. Christian Yelich always does pretty well with them. He's a good contact hitter, can also hit the ball out of the park. I don't know how you don't have the Phillies as your one right now, just with the way they've been playing. I think they've won, 13 out of their last 17 games or something like that. They're beating everybody, and it's not even close. And like you said, the non-competitiveness of the NL West right now with the Dodgers will be interesting at the end of the year. If they lock up the West early, do they kind of coast it and see what happens there? And then lastly, that AL Central is going to be tough.
Yeah.
With now you're saying the Royals might be good. You know, the Tigers are still in there a little bit.
Yep.
And then you have the Twins and the Guardians. So that'll be something to look at when we get to about the All-Star break.
Yeah. And surprisingly, the team that's above 500 also, the Oakland Athletics.
Yes.
Very surprising.
What the fuck is that about?
Yeah.
Very surprising.
They said, we're going to move. Let's try and play together.
All right, now let's move over to my favorite, random news in the sports world. Why? Because I love to give moments of silence. Who other than former NBA champion Glenn Big Baby Davis? Moment of silence to him. He's been sentenced to 40 months in prison for medical fraud through the NBA. That's kind of crazy, dude. You never really think NBA champion. But let's give a moment of silence to my big boy, Baby Davis here. We'll stay in the NBA here. I'm not going to give a moment of silence to this piece of shit, but Patrick Beverley, he was given he was suspended 4 games without pay for throwing that the ball to that fan, as we talked about last time too. Charlotte Hornets have just recently signed Celtics first assistant coach Charles Lee to become their next head coach. He was actually one of the league's top assistants. He'll stay with the Celtics this entire playoff run.
I think that's a great hire.
I do agree with that. Yeah. Head coach Rick Carlisle for the Pacers was ejected at the end of a heated game of Game 2 here. He filed a complaint against the NBA over 78 calls and missed calls in the first 2 games of the series in Madison Square Garden. They identified and sent 49 plays from Game 2 to the NBA officials, to the NBA office, that they felt they were incorrectly called. Carlisle also said that the Pacers were being penalized by refs because the Knicks are a large market team compared to their small market franchise of the Pacers.
It also just shows that the NBA wants a Celtics-Knicks conference finals to get the Boston-New York rivalry back. And it's just outrageous.
I'm going to just say, if that were to happen for NHL, NBA, even one or the other, like our producer said, it will start a civil war. And I am here for it. Like KG said, I got the drums. I got the 9s. I'm ready for war, baby.
I got the
Uzi. I'm ready for war.
Got a couple grenades, a couple launches.
Can we put that up, please? Someone.
I think.
Put it up.
Game 7, man. That's it. It's all the marbles. I'm sitting in the house. I'm loading up the pump. I'm loading up the Uzi. I got a couple of M16s, a couple 9s. I got a couple joints with some silencers on them. I'm just loading up clips, a couple grenades. Got a missile launcher with a couple, missiles. I'm ready for war.
I think Reggie Miller said it best. He was on the call for either TNT or NBA TV, wherever the game was on, and he said it's always difficult when you got to go to MSG because it's 8-on-5, not 5-on-5, because you have those 3 officials on the Knicks side always.
And he would know best,
Yeah,
he the Pacers playing those Knicks teams.
Nick Killer.
Yep.
He also said that Chris Paul used to make dudes come on his back.
I did see that. That was fucking outrageous.
Oh my!
In years past, from Chris Paul, when he would get ahead of you and just kind of stop and make the defender come on his back. That's what.
God.
No Diddy.
Also, other news in the NBA, Suns head coach Frank Vogel is now fired. He got canned after the first season. He's been here before, obviously, with the Lakers.
Won a championship for them, at least.
That's fair. But, yeah, he sucks.
No, he doesn't even deserve a moment of silence.
No, he doesn't.
All right, switching up now to the hockey world. And probably the cringiest videos I've seen in a long time. Head coach Sheldon Keefe kind of left, but was also fired, came out on Twitter thanking the Toronto Maple Leafs with the background of an ocean. If you watch this video, it was really cringy to watch. But no surprise, though, he was going to get fired. Maple Leafs eliminated in the first round the last 3 out of the four years. In other NHL news, the Utah don't know yet have released the 20 potential names for their club. I'm not going to read them all here. There's a bunch of them. We're going to pick which ones we like best after this next segment here. And then, lastly, the San Jose's won the lottery. They will have the first pick in the 2024 draft. And I wonder who that'll be. Apparently, there's this Russian kid who's apparently supposed to be the next Alexander Ovechkin. So that'll be interesting to see there. Blackhawks got 2. Anaheim Ducks got 3, Columbus Blue Jackets got 4, and the Montreal Canadiens got 5. So now back to the Utah nameless. Looking at that list, boys, give me 2 that you think would fit.
I got it first. Ready? Look it up. Utah Venom. That's fucking sick. Come on, boys. Really?
Are there
Utah Venom?
Are there snakes in Utah?
I was going to say, does that even make any sense?
Come on, think about Spider-Man Venom. Come on, boys. What are you guys doing?
I'm not.
Oh, man. Well, my other one is the Utah Yetis. Come on.
I will agree with you on that. Yeah.
That would be, if it wasn't the Venom, it'd be the Yetis. But I really like the Venom. I feel like they'd have a dark colorway, all black jersey. Oh, come on.
I do agree with you with
the Yeti. Drip here. For the drip.
The Yeti would be fucking unreal. I would probably say just because Caribou's a funny name. Gotta love the fucking Caribou, you know?
Dude.
Gotta be the Utah Caribou.
The last time
Caribou!
The Polar Express, dude. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Caribou!
That's exactly what I was thinking.
The last time I heard of that word.
Also, if they just named their team the Utah Hockey Club, come on, we can't think of anything else.
Kind of sick.
What is that?
We made fun of the
Washington football team.
We made fun.
That kind of rocked.
We made fun.
It only rocked because you're used to it now. They have to have a mascot. Have to.
I will say I do hate the Commanders though. They should have just stayed as the football team.
Yeah, that's better. I got 2. The Utah Powder. For 1, your mascot, little coked out guy with some powder coming out of his nose, eyes absolutely gigantic.
All right. You turned me there.
That one you could get behind. And then I don't mind the Utah Swarm, actually.
The Swarm would be
I think that'd be a pretty cool one. And a more serious note, the Utah Swarm. But the Utah Powder would be pretty funny, even if that's not what their mascot's going to be. The internet's going to go absolutely crazy with picking mascot ideas for the Utah Powder.
So no one wants the Utah Squall?
That's bad.
That is actually terrible. That is the worst one ever. What the fuck is a squall?
Beats me.
I don't know.
We'll have the definition.
The Utah Black Diamonds? That's bad.
I mean, the freeze could kind of be fire.
Yeah, that sounds more of
kind of like that blue, a little lighter, I guess.
The Utah Freeze sounds more of a superhero.
I feel like it sounds like a Gatorade.
Yeah,
it is a Gatorade.
It is. That's Glacier Freeze.
I know. And you just said the color of that, which is blue. It reminded me of it
because of the Rocky Mountains. Wow, chill bear.
To wrap up random news and sports in the NFL, former standout wide receiver Allen Robinson. He
standout.
He used to be nasty.
You're being too critical because they're going to the Giants.
He's being too critical because he's been dog shit the last 3 years. But if you look at how he did 7 years ago when he was in fucking Jacksonville, he was a standout. He was unreal. Hence my thing 5 years ago when I said that Allen Robinson was better than Amari Cooper. I still stand by that.
Dude,
at that point in time, it happened. That's what I said. He's going to the New York Giants.
Yeah, it's going to be another Kenny Golladay situation coming right now.
Yeah, but at least they didn't give him a lot of money.
I totally forgot about that take.
Other NFL news, we also have Tyler Boyd, who is heading to the Tennessee Titans for 1 year, $4.5 million. And lastly, recently drafted rookies and former LSU standouts, Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors, have made a bet with each other for $10,000 on who will win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Do you guys have any quick takes on that between the two?
It ain't going to be Malik Neighbors.
I agree. Anyways, now washed up wagers. My favorite, even though I came in fucking dead last and had to get my chest hair waxed off. But
How's that doing, by the way?
it's all right. It's not too bad.
Growing back
it's
slowly?
It's starting to grow back in now.
Any itchiness going on?
It was very itchy the first couple days,
Yeah.
but now it's fine. I had to go like this for work to like air it out.
Like the
and,
sweat
relax
was getting to it.
Oh, dude, it was bad. Anyways, here's a recap from last episode, being Tuesday, May 7th.
No shock to this one.
Pat is in first place with a perfect 3-0 record. His winning picks from Tuesday were the Colorado Avalanche, who beat the Dallas Stars in Game 1, the New York Yankees, who beat the Houston Astros 10-3, and the Boston Celtics, who covered 11.5 Game 1 versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. I am in second place, as always, like I ran through all last month, but for Lewis
Not as
came
always,
in at the end.
'cause
Hold on,
you
I'm not
finished
done
last.
yet before Lewis came
Well,
in.
you
and
said as
fucking-
always, and I just wanted to correct you there. All right,
Until
boss?
the end.
You went last month, all right?
At
God.
the end, yes. It all matters at the end.
Doesn't
I
matter
know.
how you start; it's how you finish, buddy.
I know.
And
Well,
if you ain't first, you're last.
It ain't
Ricky
the best,
Bobby.
It ain't the
All
first thing you do; it's the last thing you do. All right, boss?
Yeah, sure. Anyways, I'm 2-1. My wins on Tuesday were the Arizona Diamondbacks. I pick them and they win. Lewis picks them and they lose.
And Bobby lost last month.
We can finally add that add a win to the Diamondbacks counter as they beat the Reds 6-2. I also took Cale Makar over 0.5 point in Game 1, where he absolutely obliterated that, where he had a goal and 2 assists. My loss was Jason Tatum with over 41.5 points, rebounds, assists. He ended up having 34. They just didn't need him, so
I'm just glad you just said they didn't need him rather than he had a shit game, because that's what America thinks.
like I said
that.
earlier, when you looked at how the defense plays against him, it doesn't matter.
Jaylen Brown's dropping
Makes-
30. Derek White's dropping 30.
Yeah.
Just give
I
him
mean,
the ball.
exactly.
Give
You
him
make the smarter plays rather than fucking
Yeah.
shoot a fucking shot over 3 players.
But you know what's crazy though? Like Jalen Brunson, like they give them all the fucking credit in the world for being in a dogfight in every single game, but yet they don't give Tatum credit when he is actually like a team player. Lewis starts the month in last place after going 1-2 on Tuesday. His only win was the Atlanta Braves, who beat my Boston Red Sox 4-2. His losses were the under of 5.5 in Game 1 of the New York Rangers Carolina Hurricane series, which ended up having 7 total goals. He also took the Dallas Mavericks plus 3.5 against the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they ended up losing by 22.
Just missed that one, Lou.
By a smidge. By a smidge.
Okay, so now let's get our wagers in for Friday, May 10th. I will start it off. I have over 6 goals in the Oilers versus Canucks game. That is minus 125. I have the Phillies money line at minus 170. And I don't know if this was a typo on the board, if somebody's injured, but I have the Knicks plus 7 on the road against the Pacers. Plus 445, $10 to give you 55.
I have the Yanks money line against the Tampa Bay Rays. I have the Bruins plus 1.5 at home. The Nuggets plus 4.5 in Minnesota. That will be plus 361. $10 wins you 46-11.
And mine is the Texas Rangers money line against the Colorado Rockies. I have over 223.5 of the Knicks Pacers game, and I also took the over of 5.5 goals in the Bruins Panthers game. Plus 483, $10 to win you 58-32. We still haven't decided on what the punishment's going to be for the loser for this month, but we'll keep you updated. If you guys have any suggestions, leave a comment, and that'd be great. Thank you for joining us for episode 9 of the Washed Up Sports Podcast. We release new episodes every Tuesday and Friday on Spotify and YouTube. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and give us a follow on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Our username for those can be found in the description below. Thanks for watching, and as always,
Stay washed.